Good morning and welcome to the Frontiers of Knowledge segment of Dr. Lamba's Awakening Call. COVID 19, big bugbear, and then the steps taken by practically all the governments in the world wear masks, have social distancing. Great. Have they realized that the masks are extremely harmful? Okay, they do protect somewhat the people with whom we come in contact. But wearing masks can affect speech and language development in children, and the future generations might suffer from this affliction. They might not be able to speak well, they may not be able to understand language, the subtle nuances. Don't be amazed, that's a reality. Wearing masks during the pandemic has created a unique set of challenges. For the seniors, for the elders, for the grown ups, it's okay. But for the kids, especially in the age group of 1 month to 2 years, now, the problem is that their difficulty to recognize people, read emotions, and even learning to talk would be affected. This is the result of the research that has been done globally in at least 20 universities. I was quite impressed by David Lakovitz, senior scientist in Hawkins Labs and the professor adjunct in Yale Child Study Center. And he said very clearly that this mask is going to impact the children to an extent that the next generation might deem it to be a curse. So, what to do? I saw a video of 1 year old walking up the random objects, pressing on them, rubbing her hands together as if she walks went viral earlier this year. The toddler thinks everything in the world is a hand sanitizing station. Funny, cute, possibly. But imagine the child considers everything to be a hand sanitizer. The association being built consciously in the child is injurious. Then public health measures require wearing masks. And that has, as I said, spanned the globe and it was almost more than a year. But they can be, and for the elders, for the adults, they are annoying, they are awkward. Look at the children. The first year of the child, now from 0 to 1 year, the life of the child is impacted by what the child learns in the formative years. And the first year of life is when speech and language are emerging in a major way. You cannot miss that every time you speak, look at the child. The child looks at you, sees how you speak, then copycats it. Now, when the research was being done on the visual speech information or lip reading, we have seen that the children and the babies before pandemic had a better response. And when we see the babies born during the pandemic, when a woman talks to them or a mom talks or sister or the brother or sister, whosoever, they don't have that smart a response. In the research they study used an eye tracking device to capture where the child's gaze is focused. And at the same time, they were monitoring the brain MRIs. They found that the child was focused on the face of the mom, trying to understand, but inside the waves were not accepting what he was saying. There was a distance between acceptance and understanding. What they discovered was that at 4 months of age, babies are really interested in the eyes of the talker. When you wear a mask, the eyes get crinkled. They don't open as much as when you are not wearing a mask. So they could not understand why the response of the eyes, the eye contact was not as thorough as it ought to be. 8 months of age, there was a really dramatic shift. They started to look not at the eyes but at the mouth region of the person who was talking to them. How the lips are formed, how they twist, how the tongue is moving. Are the lips rounding or are they being vertically opening? There's a way Ethiopians, when they speak, do like this, and Indians, when they speak, open their mouth horizontally, not vertically. So the children, when they were looking at the mouth region, found it was blank because the mask is there. And when they cannot see the face, when they cannot see the lip movement, then they don't accept it and they don't learn it. When people around infants, in bilingual households especially, the immigrants who come here speak Hindi or Punjabi or their native language at home, outside they speak in English. So when they wear a mask, they show even greater impairment because the children rely even more on lip reading and differentiating the language sounds between the languages. So the whole system of learning has been disrupted. So what to do? Do you not wear the mask? So advice according to the scientists is that you have to compare the potential effect of the mask on the speech development. And it's not very simple. It's not very difficult, not very complex. You have to increase face to face time with your baby at home and talk much more than you ordinarily talk. And don't talk only what you say, ooh, ooh, like that. Talk in a proper language so that the child can absorb, see, interact. The child may not speak, but he's interacting in his mind and his brain. The waves are very active, the child is listening to you. And then speak in both the languages so that the child can understand that there are two different ways you are talking about. Simply just take them in your arms. That's the advice of the scientist. Pick them up, have them in front of you, interact them as much as you can, and face to face interaction. So this way the children would get the full package, the auditory package and the visual package, which they were getting earlier, but with the mask coming in, the visual and the auditory packages got mixed up. Or rather, they got absolutely separated. Now, there are emotional barriers. Reading lips is obviously harder when you are wearing a mask, and so is reading the emotions. But for children who are still developing their interpersonal skills, mask can pose a challenge in that area as well. A kindergarten teacher, John Gelatin, saw this challenge for the first time, and he immediately rushed to the psychology professors and psychiatrists and the doctors. And then, they studied and heard it, and he now says that the students are back in class reading and wearing mask all day. So the class is there and all the children are wearing a mask. But they don't see the emotions. They don't see the anger. They don't see the resentment. If somebody is harassed, the anger cannot be seen. So it becomes very difficult. And it's all the more harder for the children. Now, they are not children 0 to 1, they are from 5 to 10. That is the time when the emotions are much more strong than the reason is. It's instinctive, it's reactive. So they cannot get the full range of emotions. But we try, the teachers have to try, and they get the self regulation activities where they can navigate those things. Here, the children have got to see, sorry, the teachers have got to see that the children react and show their emotions. So the questioning has to change. Instead of the usual questioning, it's incumbent on the teachers and the parents to ask, how are you feeling today? Are you angry? Has something happened to make you angry? Are you resentful? The question we normally don't ask. We judge the emotion. But now the parents and the teachers have to ask. So, not only that, the children have to be taught to read the emotions of the masked friends. So, what you do is try and model empathy, how to take care of each other. So, empathy is much more important. You have to find a different way to look at voice, but the tone people have to be told, the children, I'm talking of 5 to 10, or rather 5 to 12, that the children have to be told and taught body language and the eye movement, the crinkle of the eye. I mean, say, closing the eye, opening them wide open to show. So, when the children say that your eyes are shining, it means you are happy. When the eyes are bugging out, it means you are scared. So, it's a practice is required for the adults and the teachers interacting with children while masked. Now, there are some words that are required. The sound that goes with the word. So you emphasize some of the emotion through words. Use your gestures. So the teachers have got to do that. Then recognition. Mass hides not only our emotions but also your identity. The adult ability to recognize a face is reduced by 15% if the person has a mask covering the nose and the mouth. 15% possibility of recognizing a face is there. But the kids have a much harder time. And it's found that children in the age group of 6 and 14, their recognition ability is impaired by 30% when the mask is present. So if they cannot recognize whether this teacher is X or Y, is it a biology teacher or a history teacher, is a class teacher or is a headmaster on the road, they have a problem. So to help children manage, masked adults should wear something that's very personalized. For example, you wear a mask with a flower here, and they represent, and the students are told, well, if the teacher comes, he'll be having a flower on the mask. And then in this time, don't change your style, at least hairstyle. Don't change your eyeglasses. These are the things that the kid latch on to recognize you. And then we have got to see that the children recognize their friends by their clothes and their voice. So, as far as possible, don't change the style and the pattern of the clothes. So, these are the strategies that have some effect, but the long term impact of mask wearing on the face perception development is really going to be horrible. To determine who they are looking at, adult brains perceive the face holistically. For example, they compute the distance between the features all at once. You see the face of a person as singular object. Children don't do that. They look at the eyes, they look at the nose, they look at the forehead, they look at the cheeks, they look at the chin. And then they mix them up and create that image is created. This is Bob, this is Mom. Now imagine if those children are now living in the world where half the face is blocked, then it's going to affect on the development of their ability. of what? Face recognition. So language impairment, recognition impairment. These are the major issues that are happening. The pediatricians are telling us that the children being unable to see the educators is damaging. That's what the pediatricians say. And as a matter of fact, the family minister of Quebec, she admitted the other day we were talking that now they should have two disposable window masks every day. So window mask means transparent masks. That may be a way out. But is that enough? No. This coronavirus might impact, but I'm much more concerned with the impact on the coming generations. And that's why I devoted the whole episode today to this major aspect. Can we somehow or the other stop these fabric ones, have more transparent masks so that the children faculty to recognize and understand is not impaired? Are the educators and the politicians listening? Where are they? Let's see. Hopefully they listen. Hopefully they come to their senses. And hope sustains life. Thank you.